Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be an eyebrow tutorial. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So I'm starting off underlining my brow, and I am using the Benefit Brow Precisely My Brow pencil in the shade number 5. So what I'm doing is I'm just using short strokes to create a bottom line, and then once I have my bottom line filled out, I'll go on top and of course make a top line. And as you guys can see, I am just kind of creating my own shape. My brows are a little bit straighter than what I'm drawing them to be, but that's the plus side of drawing on your eyebrows, is that you can create the shape that you like. Now here, I'm just using a little bit more pigment on the ends instead of in the beginning, and as you guys can see, I have a whole new shape. So of course, I'm just gonna recreate those same steps on the other eyebrow. And as you guys can see, just using short strokes, taking my time to create a symmetrical shape. But remember that your eyebrows are sisters, not twins, so they may not be completely identical, but you just want to get them as close as you can. So after I've outlined my brow, as you guys can see, I'm going back in with that same pencil and just kind of sparsely putting in strokes of pigment. I don't want my brows to be super dark, so I'm just kind of filling them in where I feel that I need them. If you want your brows darker, you can also shade them in, but I like mine to have that natural-esque look. So after I have filled in my brows to the darkness that I like them to be, what I'm going to do now is use my Morphe M169 brush. And I am going to be using this brush because it kind of has like a tapered tulip shape and it's very soft. I like to use this brush at the front of my brows to blend out my pigment. So I actually just recently started doing this, and I think it's a really good trick because what it does is it really gives your brows that like gradient effect. More so than using a spoolie. Also, if you guys have ever used a spoolie to shade your brows in the front where you have a little bit less hair, a little bit less pigment, sometimes it can be a little bit painful. This, however, is the perfect technique for me because it allows me to blend my brows out completely and really does give them like an airbrush look. So now I'm going to be using a 3/8 actually painter brush. So I like this brush because it's super sharp, it's super square, and it's very thin. So I'm sure you can find a makeup brush that's similar, but I actually got this one from Hobby Lobby. And now I'm taking a little bit of concealer on the back of my hand, and I'm using my LA Pro Girl concealer in the shade FAWN. And I just have that on the tip of my brush, and now I'm going to use this to outline my brows. So to outline my brows, what I do is I kind of press the brush into my skin and pull down. I press, pull down, and press and pull down. So because this brush is already square, that really helps for me to get a very sharp line. Also, if you're new to doing your brows, it can be a little bit difficult for you to draw that nice, even straight line. Using a square brush like this one, that's the right, I guess, kind of mix between stiff and soft, it really helps you to create that nice sharp line. That sharp line is what pretty much gives you that neat brow look. So what I'm going to do is just continue to shape out my brow the way that I like. And me personally, whether I'm wearing eyeshadow or not, I like to drag my concealer all the way down my eyelid, but it's totally a preference thing. If you don't like to do that, you don't have to, but you do want to at least pull it down about 1/4 of the way where I have it here, and then blend it out with like a clean eyeshadow brush. So now that I've done my first eye, I'm just going to repeat those steps on my second eyebrow. And of course, I place and pull down, place and pull down, place and pull down until I get that nice sharp line. As you guys can see, it helps my line come out really clean every time. I used to actually use kind of like a concealer brush underneath my eye that's kind of the shape of like a cat's paw, that rounded tapered flat brush. However, I did find that the painter brush really does help for me to get nice clean brows in like half the time. So if you're struggling with your brows, or if it's taking you a really long time, try using the painter's brush. I really love it. I think I got this from Hobby Lobby for like maybe $4. So now all I'm doing is I'm taking the tip of my brush and I'm just perfecting my line wherever I feel like it could be a little bit straighter or a little bit more even. Feel free to always check your work and make sure it's up to your standard, it's up to your liking. So that's all I'm doing here. I didn't want to cut that footage out because I wanted to show you guys it's totally fine to go in and of course edit your work as you go. So once I'm done, my brows look pretty even, and all I'm doing is using my eyebrow pencil yet again and just making sure that the top of my arches are as even as I can get them. So once I have perfected my brows, what I'll do is instead of using that concealer, I'm going to actually use my foundation. This is a NARS Radiant Foundation in the shade Coarse, and I'm just using that on the top of my brow. I use my foundation shade on the top of my brow instead of that concealer because I don't want there to be like that white dusty glow. I know y'all have seen those people with like white concealer. It just seems so light. So I like to use my foundation because it looks a lot better once I complete my entire foundation routine. Or even if I choose not to do foundation this day, I could totally choose to do that because I'm using my foundation at the top of my brow. So please make sure you use your foundation or at least a darker color concealer that matches your skin for the top of your brow. Alright guys, so now that I have my eyebrows outlined with my concealer, I'm just going to go right back in with that same tulip shaped Morphe brush that we used in the beginning and give my eyebrows one last final blend. You can never blend your eyebrows too much. It gives that nice soft natural gradient effect, which I like. So I'm just going to go in and blend them out and then seal them off with a clear mascara. Now this one is not my favorite. This one is from L'Oreal. However, a really good one is the one by Anastasia or the one by MAC. Those both are a little bit more stiffer and gives you a longer hold. So make sure you seal your brows off and coat them with some type of brow gel or mascara. So once my brows are coated, I am done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and I will see you guys in the next video.